full-size SUV segment is getting more and more competitive. You've got Buick going all in on full-size SUVs. Of course, you've got Lexus, which commands the space, but now Infiniti has completely redesigned the QX80 for this new generation, and it sure is something special. So let's dig into this brand new QX80, the top of the line Autograph Edition, and see just how great it is. Before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Infiniti of Naperville for letting us come by today and check out the QX80 Autograph Edition. If you're around the Chicago area, come to Infiniti of Naperville and they will take care of all of your Infiniti needs, and they also have a large pre-owned selection too. Starting off in the front here, we have a completely redesigned front end that looks way better than the outgoing generation. And actually, my favorite part has to be the emblem right here in the center. It looks fantastic. They made it kind of 3D and it goes inwards. I don't know, it looks cool. It's really soft, whereas the old one was sharp and bubbly. So that's a good change there. I like it a lot. One thing they could have done though is they could have taken the camera right here and moved it up into the center, completely hid it, and I think that would have been a little bit better. But the first thing you notice when you look at the front end of the QX80 is the redesigned grille. Instead of the much smaller grille, now they've got a bigger one, and it is also completely functional all the way throughout. Overall, the new design of the grille looks fabulous, and another quirky thing that it does have is the emblem itself actually does light up. But I think the star of the show of the front end of the QX80 has to be your daytime running lights. They're a little bit slotted, you've got a lot of them, and they're also your turn signals. So overall, I think they look really cool. But then you've got your dual LED headlamps here, a little bit of functional venting for some aerodynamics, and overall, I would just say the front end is massive and it looks really good. But as you come around to the side, it also ships with bigger wheels than it has in the past. We have 21-inch wheels and they look great. They're kind of like a gunmetal color for the wheels, and overall they look pretty stylish. You got some nice venting over here that is actually functional as well, so that's pretty cool. You've got full 360 cameras with your lane departure warning, lane assistance warning with blind spot monitoring as well on the mirror, and they're good sized mirrors too, so that's great. Love to see that. And then of course you've got the paint to match door handles that are also present aware, so if I go too far away from the car and lock it, they will go flush with the door itself. Of course, you've got some nice steps to get into the vehicle as well. Coming back further, you can also see we've got a nice autograph emblem on the side as well. Your gas cap is actually a push to release instead of a lever on the inside. However, it's going to hit your pocket in numerous ways because this bad boy QX80 only takes premium fuel, so you'll be feeling that at the pump. Coming along further though, we've got the rear tail lights that do wrap around the side. You've got a little bit of a hidden Infiniti logo inside there too. And now the rear lights also run all the way across the rear end. I actually really like the tail lights on the Infiniti. They just look cool. They kind of take that slotted style from the front too. And you've got a little bit of a spoiler back here, but my favorite part has to be that they've got the rear window wiper hidden up above. You know, it just looks a lot cleaner that way. I like the two-tone that they've got running through the center here, all the way around the car, kind of separate it. It's a little bit of a grayish gunmetal color again. Of course, you've got Infiniti really large across the back, a very nice QX80 badge there. Looks good. And then some silver plating here. Overall, it's a really sharp looking car inside and out. Now getting into the rear of the car, if the car was off, you can hold your foot over behind the left-hand side here and it will open up the tailgate. However, since the car is currently on, we do have to use the remote, but it opens up nicely. You also have a button here too that you can open it up with, but you get a good amount of space here, and also it comes with a duffel bag or a suitcase, so I guess that's cool. But you've got a 120 volt outlet on the left hand side there. Also, you have one touch operation to drop both rows of seats in the back too. Now they do drop basically completely flat. However, you do have a center console in the second row that kind of has like an 1.5 inch bump up, so it's not perfectly flat all the way. Now another cool thing that you can do back here is you actually can lower or raise the rear end with these buttons here, so that's easier to load things in, get them out, whatever. So that's pretty nice as well. Now since this is an automatic rear gate, we are going to do the banana test. We're going to see how it does. Will this Infiniti cost $120,000 and then another $100,000 in hospital bills? Let's find out. So we'll shove our banana in the crevice. and see how it does. No, not too bad. That might be some of the best we've gotten. So the Infiniti passes. It is infinitely safe. How about we hop into the inside though and see what's going on, because it sure is special. Now the interior of the QX80 just screams class and sophistication, and you see it as soon as you open up the door. You've got a very crisp interior on the QX80, a lot of very nice tones and contrast going on. Now this is a black interior, so it's a lot of black and silver, but hey, I like that too, so why not? But it's very standard operations that you do have on the door panel here. You've got 2 memory seat functions and one-touch operation on all 4 of your windows, of course window lock, and then your side view mirror controls. You can also fold the side view mirrors in too, so that's pretty nice. But you do have a full clip surround sound system in here, and it does sound pretty dang nice too. Now another nice thing also is these seats. The seats are extremely comfortable. They look fantastic. They have heat and ventilated seats, and they also massage. And aside from that, you also have 12-way power control on both of your front seats. So very nice control. And also when you open up the door, you can see you've got a really nice Infiniti door sill there at the bottom. So love to see that, a little bit of style points. But hopping in, like I mentioned, very, very comfortable seat and a very nice steering wheel. It's a really good feeling steering wheel, and it's just loaded with features as well. You've got the Pro Pilot system, which is brand new for the GX80 this year, and that's this button here. And then you've got some different blind spot monitoring with this button, some other, your adaptive cruise control, and then your cruise control functions, volume, and then on the right-hand side, it's more so your infotainment system that you can control, your voice assistant, track selection, and all that stuff. So nothing groundbreaking, but a very nice and comfortable steering wheel for sure. Beyond the steering wheel though, you do have a couple paddle shifters. On the left-hand stalk is your turn signals and your lights. Right-hand side, you've got your front and rear window wiper controls. And then to the left of the steering wheel though, we have even more functions. You've got your keep lane assistance, that auto off that we all hate, some more vehicle information, your rear hatch, auto hold, and your electronic parking brake. So overall, tons of control just right here, loaded with features. And since this is their flagship top of the line QX80, it also does have your powered tilt and oscillation for your steering wheel. Love to see that. Now moving on beyond the steering wheel, you do have 2 massive 14.3-inch displays, one for your infotainment center and then one for your digital gauge cluster. And there's just tons of things that you can do in here. It is relatively responsive. Now I do have an issue though, because this is a $115,000 car, top of the line, supposed to be completely fleshed out with luxury, and it's only got Android Auto. So I guess if you're an iPhone user, they don't like you. Buy an Android, or don't buy an Infiniti. But aside from that, it is a rather nice infotainment center and display overall. It's very crisp. It looks pretty good. Overall though, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do in here. You've got a dash cam built in, so you can look at the dash cam. You can take pictures of it. You can look at the rear cam. We can even look at the inside camera, and then look, there's Uncle Steve over there. He's hiding. But so there's a lot of cool things that you can do in here. It's just a bummer that it is only Android Auto. Now below there though, we have another 9-inch display. Now I am kind of impartial to this because this is a touchscreen, right? And this is how you control all of your heating and air. Sometimes the buttons don't seem to always work. Sometimes they do. This is also where you can do your drive modes. So you've got standard, eco, sport, tow, and snow. Now, when we're talking about the climate control system in this though, they have something rather unique that other cars do not have. And that is the BioCool. So basically using biometrics and infrared cameras, they are able to detect if you're hot, and then they will, change the temperature cooler, cool down the car, and it works for all 3 rows in the car. Now, the weird thing is you can't really tell when it's doing anything, but overall, that's kind of the point. So there you go. And then we've got our hazards button below there. We've also got our physical buttons for our gear selection. So you got park, reverse, neutral, drive, and manual for those paddle shifters. And then you've also got your auto height adjustment. So if you're parking, it will automatically lower so you can get out easier, and then it will raise it up. And then you've got a button to flip through your different cameras. So you've got a ton of different camera views that you can flip through. They're just all over. And then in here, you've got even more stuff. So this one's got 2 Type-C USB ports as well as a wireless charging pad. Awesome. This one's got 2 cup holders. They are pretty small. Uncle Steve's Pink Yeti will not fit in there. So not very big, but hey, if you can't fit your cup in there, and if you've only got a bottle of water or something like that, you can put it in the cool box. So you've got actually a nice cool box in here that you can turn on or off, and they'll do exactly that. It'll keep stuff cool. That's always a nice feature to have, especially if you're going on a long road trip and you got the fam in the car. You know, it's nice to keep things cool. Overall though, it's not a very padded spot, so it's not gonna be the most comfortable, but it's not bad either. It's got that nice leather wrap with suede on the sides. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, now moving up above the infotainment center, you do have an auto-dimming rear view mirror, but it's not just a rear view mirror because it's also a digital camera. That's nice. And you got a bunch of different menu functions you can do to tilt it or whatever you might need to do. So overall, that's nice. But going up further, we've got a place to store our sunglasses, a couple dome lights, an SOS button, and then the controls for our ginormous panoramic roof. So that's awesome. You do have a little bit of an opening here. It's quite small, smaller than your typical sunroof or moonroof, but the shade does open all the way to the back of the second row. The dash itself is actually quite cool because you've got a lot of ambient lights and stuff in here that you can't see right now, unfortunately, because it is bright out, but you've got 64 different colors that you can change them all to, and I don't know, it's neat, a little bit of personal touch, you know, whatever's suiting your mood, right? Now, I did mention that the QX80 has a fantastic surround sound system. A lot of that is due to the headrest, because as you can see, I've got my head on the headrest, and I've got speakers going all the way around my head. So it's going all the way around the headrest, and that makes it sound much better. It's like it's just whispering in your ear. But that about wraps up the front of the QX80, and the back is just as nice. So let's hop back there and see how great it is. All right, coming into the rear of the second row of the QX80, you have the door panel that is styled just like the front one, so it looks fantastic. It's a lot of contrast. Overall, it's the same. But the seats also are the same, so they're just as comfortable. They've also got heated and ventilated seats, and they have the massage function too. So great. Another nice part is it's very easy to get into the third row because the seat just does this with a touch of a button. And now I can get in back there if I wish. But for now, let's stay in the second row.
It is like prime executive seating back there. You got 2 very large cupping chairs that are very comfortable because they are basically drop the front seats for your second row. But back here, you got tons of space. I'm in my driving position right now for the front seat, and I have, about 1.5 feet of space between my knees. Plenty of headroom well in the second row. Got a mess. We have kangaroo counter, storing stuff. Couple cup holders here. Another sword compartment back here. And also, they have this another display, about 9 inches, where we can control both the left and the right seat on the side chairs. So with this magnetic display, you can pull your climate back here. With heated and ventilated seats, you can adjust the seat. You can also do your massage, and then we've got different settings for the screen yourself. You can put climate out, and then when you're done, you hit that button, and it turns off. Now that's not the only place you can control the climate, because we can also control it right here. Again, pretty ventilated seats, full climate control, so pretty nice. And then we've also got 2 Type-C SD ports. And then also a 12-volt outlet on the light bulb. All right, now hopping into the third row, we use that button that I was talking about on top of the seat there, and it'll automatically lift the seat up. And you've got a decent amount of space, but you do feel a little bit cramped back here, especially if you're an adult. I sit properly, my head is touching the seat, but I have plenty of lever. Well, that's nice. So these seats do go forward and backwards, so if I needed even more or upper steep, be 8.6, he's definitely in more space, you can get that. Now, the third row is actually also heated. Other than that, back getting served well, you can actually pick back the seat a little bit to get more comfortable. Also, we do have 2 cup holders on both sides, separate, as well as 2 more type PTSD course 1A hipster. So overall, though, for a road trip, this actually one of the most comfortable for this airplane. So, once you should speak your road trip, though, let's get this bad boy on the road. Let's go.
All right, now we're behind the wheel of the brand new 2025 Infiniti QX80 Autograph. And it is a pleasure to drive, at least so far. I mean, I haven't gotten to drive it a ton yet, but let me tell you, the seat is very comfortable. The cabin is extremely quiet, and due to the air spring suspension that it has, it's a very soft ride too. Now, I have seen some things that they say that on like broken up pavement and stuff, it gets pretty rough. Unfortunately, where I'm at currently, there is none of that. So I can only comment on nice and smooth pavement, and it seems to do pretty well at that. Now, my first complaint though will be with the brakes. The brakes, you have to put quite a bit of pressure on in order to actually come to a full stop. It's a little weird, but yeah, very stiff brakes overall. The handling itself though, otherwise, is not bad. If you're used to driving a full-size SUV or trucks or anything like that, you'll have no problem at all. It drives and handles very nicely. Now, the QX80 is loaded with all the safety features you can imagine, like pedestrian monitoring, blind spot monitoring, you know, adaptive cruise control. Now they've got the new ProPilot system, so it's got all the bells and whistles that you could possibly need. Another thing is too that the QX80 is actually pretty snappy, even though now it's only got the V6 in it and it's got the 2 turbos. It no longer has the naturally aspirated V8, which Uncle Steve will talk to us more about that, but it does actually have about a 6.1 second 0 to 60. So we can't actually test that right now either, but you can definitely feel it when you get off the line and accelerate, that it has some pick-me-up for sure. Now, in terms of comfort though, like I said, it's extremely comfortable. I've got no complaints there whatsoever, but where it does kind of lack is these A-pillars are absolutely massive. They're very thick, meaty pillars. So you've got a very large blind spot on both sides when you are trying to see. It's not the worst, but it definitely makes a big impact, I would say. Other than that though, in terms of visibility, you've got massive windows all throughout, so it's not really that big of an issue. It's just in the front here that it could be an issue. So, something to think about.
All right, it's Uncle Steve's first time driving this 2025 QX80. The first impression is really nice, very comfortable, big, and the seat actually really soft. It's not like a hard leather, soft leather. The visibility is great. I can see Josh right next to me. I can see the blind spot, I can see the back.
How do you feel about these massive A-pillars though?
It's okay as long as not at the stoplight, crosswalk, it's fine. But if I at the crosswalk, I may have a problem to see people walking across the road, you know. That's a big problem.
Well, that's why you've got the safety features, you know, for pedestrian monitoring. They're like, we won't let you see the crosswalk, but we'll tell you when someone's in.
Yeah, that's a great feature. The brake, yes. Oh my God, it's so soft. It's bad. It's not a good feeling, you know. I feel like you cannot stop it.
Yeah.
One of the worst things I feel so far. And then the turn signal, kind of like a BMW style. You have to, it's kind of like you try to cancel it, but you can, you know. That's only 2 things I hate so far. Acceleration, it has some kick. Of course, thanks for the powertrain, the upgrade powertrain, or for some people downgrade. Last generation, they have the V8, and this generation they replace it with a V6 twin turbo, 3.5 liter, not hybrid. Unlike the LX700, they have the hybrid, the Lexus LX700, which is new for 2025. They have the hybrid V6 twin turbo engine. But this one, no, it's not a hybrid, it's just gasoline engine. It has 450 horsepower and 516 foot-pound of torque.
Now, isn't that actually more torque than the V8 model?
Yes, it's about 100 more, 100 foot-pound more.
Wow.
And 50 horsepower more than the V8. For the mile per gallon, actually a little bit better. For this one is 16 mile per gallon for the city and 21 for the highway. For the V8, it's 14 for the city and 20 for the highway. So a little bit better, a little bit faster, but the downside is you lost this V8 sound.
Yeah.
To pair the V6 twin turbo, they have the 9-speed automatic transmission. Josh, well, you know, I always ask you about the towing capacity. If I want to tow a yacht, since I have this fancy $120,000 car, I want to buy a yacht.
Oh.
Can I tow a yacht?
I think you might need a bigger truck. But this can actually tow more than most things in its class. For example, the Escalade. This has a towing capacity of 8,500 pounds, which is not bad at all. That's more than even some trucks. So when I say you're going to need a bigger vehicle, I mean you might need like a semi to pull your yacht. But you can pull a very good sized boat with this for sure.
Well, besides the towing capacity, I know this is $120,000 SUV, full-size SUV. So, and this is the top of the line, right? I don't want the top of the line. I want to take it to off-road. Or just driving like family, more crawling. How much is the base model for this QX80?
I mean, like you said, this is $115,000. This is the Mac Daddy of the flagship Infiniti. But you can get the Pure one if you just want the entry-level one. That's okay. That's called Pure, and that comes in at $84,000, $445. So it's still pretty expensive, but you lose a ton of things. Arguably, the most cost-effective one would be the Lux. You gain a bunch of the features, but you still lose out on like some of the second-row features and whatnot. And that one comes in at $91,545. You know, that's a considerable jump.
But I think it's still more affordable than the LX. The LX is well over 100,000.
You know, also the Sensory trim, which is the third trim, and that one comes in at $102,640. But then you take that $13,000 price jump to get up to the Autograph, which comes in at $115,000. So,
Damn.
It's a pricey vehicle for a Nissan.
Well, wait, as you're speaking, you know what? Nissan have the same SUV, same thing as the QX, but cost less, you know.
Probably a fraction of the features too.
Okay, do you know what kind of Nissan they have? It's a Armando.
Oh yeah, the Armando, yeah.
Yeah, and also in different countries like Middle East, they sell as a petrol or
Yeah, the Patrol.
Patrol. So
We actually rode in one.
oh yeah, we all wanted to buy, and crazy. It's actually neck to neck, complete with Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
And do you still remember what did the guy say? The tour guy said about the Nissan and Land Cruiser?
That the Nissan's better.
The Nissan is better. Are you sure?
That's what he said.
Wasn't it?
Oh, actually, the Nissan is cheaper.
Oh yeah.
If you really want to go for the affordable one, you can go with the Nissan.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but the base model of the Nissan one is rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, and actually the base model for this one is also rear-wheel drive. It's not until you get into the Sensory and the Autograph models where you get all-wheel drive. Well, there you have it, guys. The brand new 2025 QX80, especially the Autograph Edition, it's a fabulous SUV. It's very comfortable, it's loaded with features, and it's a good competitor for the Escalade, for sure. Or the LX, you know, series.
It's bigger. Actually, I feel it's bigger than LX.
Yeah, it definitely feels bigger. It feels more roomy for sure. And if you're in the market for a full-size SUV, I definitely suggest that you check one of these out, especially if it's in your budget. But if you are, you know, like I said earlier, make sure you head over to the Infiniti dealer in Naperville and they will get you all taken care of. Let us know in the comments, would you ever buy an Infiniti? Are you going to check out the QX80? What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video.